You know that feeling, right? The constant pressure, the to-do list that never ever ends, that sensation of just running on fumes in a world that refuses to slow down. For so many of us, especially in demanding jobs, this has just become, well, normal. So today, we're going to unpack the anxiety that comes with all of this, and, more importantly, figure out what we can actually do about it. Let's dive in.
I really love this quote. It gets it. It doesn't pretend the pressure isn't real. It acknowledges it head-on and frames calm not as some luxury, but as something absolutely essential for getting through it all.
And that's the real question, isn't it? When you're so wired, so used to being overwhelmed, the whole idea of calm can feel, I don't know, a little out of reach, almost like a foreign concept. If that sounds familiar, trust me, you are in very, very good company.
So let's call this first part what it is, the modern pressure cooker. We're going to look at this environment that so many of us are living in, where feeling stressed out has somehow become the default setting.
And the heat in that pressure cooker comes from all sides. You've got the job-related stress that can lead straight to burnout. You have the constant juggle of family life. There's the sheer day-to-day hustle, the errands, the commute, all of it. And then there's that social pressure to be always on, always connected, always perfect. So what happens when that pressure just keeps building? Well, that vague feeling we all call stress starts to show up as very specific, very real symptoms. Let's take a look at what we call it versus what it actually feels like. Okay, this is so important. We just throw the word stress around, but look at this breakdown. It's not just stress. It's that hamster wheel in your brain, the racing thoughts you can't turn off. It's the tension in your shoulders, that restless feeling where you can't just sit still. It's when you start dodging plans with friends you used to love seeing. It's tossing and turning at night. It's that feeling of being completely drained or just snapping at the smallest thing.
And here's the thing. We tend to write this stuff off. We tell ourselves, oh, it's just part of the job, or everyone feels like this. But these aren't just normal side effects of modern life. They're the hidden weight of everyday anxiety, and carrying that weight around takes a serious toll.
But this is where the whole story changes. I want you to look at this number, 70%. That is a number full of hope, because research shows that over 70% of people who try evidence-based therapy see a real, noticeable improvement. That's not a coin flip, that's a huge majority. Getting help that actually works isn't a long shot, it's a totally achievable thing.
Which leads to this idea that I think is so powerful. Stop thinking about therapy as something you only do in a crisis. Instead, think of it as your own personal toolkit, a set of skills you can build to get better at handling, well, everything. And this chart breaks down what's actually in that toolkit. See, it's not just talking aimlessly. These are specific, structured approaches. You've got things like CBT, which is amazing for getting a handle on those endless worry loops. Then there's ACT, which is all about building flexibility so you don't have to run from difficult feelings. And you get practical, right-in-the-moment tools like breathing techniques to physically calm your body down, and mindfulness to quiet that noisy, overactive mind.
Okay, but even knowing all of that, I get it. There's still some big questions and myths that can make people hesitate. So let's do a quick rapid-fire round and just clear the air on a few of the most common ones.
First up, and this is probably the biggest one for a lot of people, is what I say actually private? The answer is a hard yes, 100%. Licensed therapists are bound by strict legal and ethical codes of confidentiality. Your privacy isn't just a suggestion, it's a protected priority. All right, next one. Is this only for people who are in a total crisis or have really severe issues? Nope, not at all. Think about it like this. You don't wait for your body to completely break down before you go to the gym, right? This is the same idea. It's a proactive way to build mental strength and resilience no matter where you're starting from.
This is a big one. You know, friends are amazing. They're lifesavers. So, what's the difference here?
A great friend listens and supports you, which is invaluable. But a therapist does something different. They give you a structured process, using proven tools, to help you see patterns you can't see yourself and build skills that you can use for the rest of your life. It's really the difference between venting and building.
So, now that we've busted some of those myths, let's look at what taking that first step actually looks like. I promise, it's way less complicated than you might think.
It really just comes down to this. First, you schedule a consultation, just a conversation to see if it's a good fit. Then, you meet the therapist who's right for you. And then, you just start. That's it. No crazy hoops, no confusing process.
And the whole point of this journey is to put you back in the driver's seat of your own life. It's all about reclaiming that sense of control and doing it with a professional who gets it and supports you at your own pace.
So I'll just leave you with this one final thought. take a second and really ask yourself, what could you do? What would be possible in your job, in your relationships, in your life, if you just weren't carrying this hidden weight around anymore? Think about it. Thanks so much for tuning in.